Welcome to Triple M NRL Daily on your Thursday. It's Charlie White here, and I'm joined by the one and only, the great man, the Grub, Josh Reynolds. How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Very excited for today's potty. We got rid of a little bit of dead wood.
We have,
We don't have to mention his name because a bit too busy for us, but we've got a great injection off the bench.
Wade, William, Graham. How are you, brother?
Fantastic. It's great to be here. I was a little bit surprised, actually, when I got the message. Can I come in today and be a part of the podcast? Normally I'm early in the week. But hey, any opportunity to run off Grubby, outside Grubby, and Charlie, you hosting every podcast and TV thing these days. So I'm glad to be to look at the weekend's footy.
Mate, it's good to have you. It actually makes sense to me now why Luke Keary was calling for Anthony Seibold to get sacked. I reckon he knew that Kieran Foran would get the job and would leave Fox Sports, and that would create a little availability for him. He's a smart guy, Luke. I reckon he's planned this whole thing.
It's a typical halfback play. Always a step ahead, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He was after Seibold. Yeah. We were like, mate, relax. He was after him. But no, good on him, mate. It's good to see him sitting up there, nice and stiff with his with his tie. And he's great. He's good.
Actually, I did watch him the other night on Fox. And he was sitting next to Michael Ennis, and I couldn't help myself. I had to send him a cheeky sledge because it's the first time I've ever seen Mickey Ennis look tall. And it was next to Keary in a suit. So,
Love it.
Good luck to him. He's still, his first year out of rugby league. He's finding his feet and working out what his future looks like.
Well, you'll find out soon. Radio's the best.
He's got his eyes on Shane Flanagan as well now. So maybe he's hoping Mick Ennis takes that job and just creates a bit more security with him at Fox Sports.
He's like Maroon. He's got all the voodoo dolls at home, just one after another.
Thursday night tonight we've got a big game. Penrith against the Dogs. Grubby, the Dogs are huge outsiders. I don't reckon I've seen them that price since they were, battling for the spoon.
Yeah, bit disrespectful, isn't it?
It is a little bit, I think.
When I say that, where the Dogs are at the moment, and where Penrith are at the moment, I understand it. But look, people are going to say I'm MAD, and I understand when people say this, but I think this game suits us. It's going to be a tough game. The last time we played Penrith on a night game was like 8-6. It was tight. It was close. Bit of backs against the wall stuff for the Dogs this week. Everyone's after them. The media, our own fans are coming hard after him. There's been a lot going on. Our captain, our leader and inspiration and Critter's out. So this is a great opportunity for another one or a couple of our other leaders to stand up. And I know this sounds crazy, but Penrith, the way and the style they play, and obviously having Cam Serrato being an Cam Serrato sort of created this system, this defensive system. So if there's one guy that knows how to shut down Penrith, it's Cam. Not that it's easy because Penrith are on fire at the moment, but I'm honestly, look, it's going to be a tough game, but I don't think the Dogs deserve to be whatever they are, $5 outsiders or something like that.
$6,
I just don't think it's there. Look, Bronson Cherry, big game for him. There's been plenty of chat around him and whatever has happened, but this is a good opportunity for him to sort of come back in and show everyone that he wants to stay in this team and have a big game. Another game where, the halves are going to be under scrutiny as they always are at the Dogs. But look, it's another week where they get to take on the best in the business. And, what better night than to stand up on a Thursday night where absolutely no one gives you a chance, Wado.
Yeah, well, really only the one change. It's a big change. Stephen Crichton is so important to that Bulldogs team, but you have the ability to bring in Bronson Cherry, he's an experienced player. He's in his preferred left side centre position. So, apart from the leadership and obviously the quality that Stephen Crichton brings, you got some cover there. You got some decent cover there in Bronson. Halves stay the same. I think the biggest question mark is who's going to be the first to really challenge this Penrith team to start this season. The Dogs showed last year when they were at their best, they could compete with them, whether it was because of Cam Serrato's knowledge or the styles of each team. There was a really good contest, that one, the last one that I can remember, the 8-6 one. But the Dogs, they'll probably have to find a better level than what they've been at because at the moment, Penrith they're pretty impressive, aren't they? They've lapped everyone that they've come up against so far, and here's another opportunity for a team to stand up and try and match them.
I just think with the Dogs, boys, if we can hold on, there's going to be an early assault. There always is with Penrith. If we can hold off, for that first period and just go set for set with them, because I know, at training, and they train for that. They just want to go set for set and wait for you to break. Because, the Dogs, I know they back themselves as being a pretty fit team. I really like our bench this week in Kurt Mann, Sitili Tupanua, and Harry Hayes. We've really missed Harry. Harry sort of goes under the radar, but he gives us a lot of punch. So if we can hold on that first onslaught that Penrith always give you, and then inject those blokes into it, and we can sort of go up another level. Because I look at Penrith's bench, and you got Cogger, Phillips, Sorensen, and Garner. I honestly think we've got a bit more punch there. So that's the way I'd probably be looking at this game. And if they can hold off for that first sort of initial punch in the face that Penrith give you, it's going to be hard though. Mitch Kenny's back. He's the one that's going to be going after everyone as he usually does in those first 20. So look, it's going to be a lot closer than what people think, I reckon.
Do Penrith have any weaknesses? Like you just talked about the bench there. Is that a weakness, or they don't have any weaknesses, do they?
Would you call it a weakness? All it is no, because Garner and Sorensen are starting at any other side.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not a weakness. Cogger's just cover. We've got, obviously Shawnee O'Sullivan as cover. You always have one. And I suppose Billy Phillips is a young guy trying to make his trade. He's a 13. Wado, he comes on and plays a bit of 13, I think. So, have Penrith got a weakness?
Well, not the way they're playing at the moment.
No.
Because, when you look at their stats and the way they're beating up teams, say their possession and completion rate, you think they're playing really conservative because they have a high completion rate, but they're actually not. They're throwing the ball around. They're playing with so much confidence. Even Scott Sorensen throwing flick passes last week, setting up tries, and they just look really fit, really fresh, and really focused. Last year they started the year poorly, but they also had to deal with injuries. Dylan Edwards at the back, he stands out. He was struggling with that groin for a while, or hamstring, or whatever it was, and him back 100% fit, moving fast and organising that goal line defence. When they have their defence at the level that they can, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the competition, well, it just frees up their attack, and they're happy to throw the ball around and pose different questions to your defensive line because they're so confident in their defence, and they're dangerous at the moment. I think if I'm at another club, realistically, looking at Penrith, we know we need to find a few more gears to even match them, and we're hoping that they come back a bit. They come back to the field, whether it's origin or injuries. They need a chink in their armour because at the moment, I've said this before, if the finals are next week, grand finals next week, they lay down Mazare. They just win.
Yeah.
The odds that they are to beat the Bulldogs tonight, they're probably the same for the grand final, whichever team's in front of them right now. They're that good.
Yeah. The only thing the thing that I just cannot believe with Penrith is, and they must demand it, if you're in this side, your skill level's got to be elite because, as Wado said, they do the same plays as everyone. Same stuff, but it's just the variety and the variations they have on them. Like, Scott Sorensen knew he was flicking that pass. So they obviously know,
Well, he knew there was someone there.
That's what it is.
He was confident because he didn't look that there was anyone there, but he knew in the back of his mind, hang on a minute, the way we're running this shape, there's got to be my teammate there. And he was happy and confident enough just to throw it at the back. It just
crazy.
Shows a understanding and a great level of detail that everyone's across in their plan, and they just go out there and execute their role in that plan. And they're hands and heels in front of everyone.
Is it a case of Panthers by how many for you?
No, not by how many. I like the styles of the two teams. I think, and again, back to Ciraldo, he stopping what Penrith are trying to do to you is one thing when you're out there on the field, but having an understanding of what they're trying to do to you so you can, throughout the game, in your mind, you've prepped all week, this is what they're trying to do and this is why they're trying to do it. That's what Cam Ciraldo, the information he can give to the Bulldogs because he helped build that system. Sometimes, I remember getting Penrith at the start of their sort of the run, and we were out there and we were under so much pressure, and I was like, mate, they're unbelievable. And I didn't know how they were getting so far in front of us. It wasn't until, after a few years, you sort of worked out their system. They're happy to hold the ball and, win that field position battle and just keep you in the grind, win their defensive early plays. They always pick up play one or two, drag them players back to get their defensive line on the front foot. They have this great cycle, how they play football, the live ball part of the game. But But Ciro knows what they're trying to achieve with their game plan. So he's got that information he can give to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think it's just one more thing. Like he knows, like he can be able to look at a video and be like, "This is the look Nathan wants."
Yeah.
Don't give him that look, because then then what he'll do is he'll have a look here, and then he'll go, "Nah, I don't like that," and I'll come back, set up, I'll have another look there. So that's probably one little, like, I suppose, area where Ciro knows Nathan really, really well. But the crazy thing is, right, and this is Nathan's ability at the moment. He could be here with himself, Yo, and Edwards, but then this unorthodox left edge just step up, and I don't even think they know what they're doing half the time, but they come up with points.
Yeah.
Give an early ball to McLean, try. Blaze Talangi, chip over the top, third tackle, try. Jenkins, drop play in the middle. Like, they just...
Jenkins has found a few tries this year already. I think he's on pace. We did the math on Saturday. If he keeps up this strike rate, it's a 60-plus try season.
Imagine that. Holy.
What's the most ever?
In a season,
Yeah.
well, I'll check. Ken Irvine probably had some good seasons.
I think he's at, is it 12 now?
Mhm. Yeah, 12 after 5,
games,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, it's a 60-plus season if he keeps this strike rate up.
That would be
That's
mental.
amazing.
Thanking.
I want to ask you, Josh, quickly about I saw something Andrew John said over the weekend that basically the way the Dogs play, the effort they put into defence, it affects their attack because they're putting so much energy into defence. You were part of this team, part of that defensive system. Does it drain you?
It's hard. Oh, absolutely. You got to be fit. You got to be fit, and you got to have leg speed, because you know what the system wants you to do is the ability to put a lot of pressure on people. You watch. Just watch Kickout this week. He does it the best that I've seen, like from a back rower. Like, people do drop plays and he takes both. He takes the dropper and he takes the guy being dropped. It's unbelievable how he does it. But he gets his angles right every single time. But this is what Penrith do. But it doesn't look like they're working hard because they're all on the same page. This is why, if you watch that you and Ciro first brought it, I remember some of the training sessions going like, how does this work? No, you do, because it's like you got to trust people, and they got to do their job every single time, and then you don't get the rest, then you got to do it again. You front load everything, and it's an interesting one that Joey says that. But what do you say to them, boys? We just need to take a little step back from front loading and do our. That's not what coaches really do. They want you to front load everything, kick chase, kick pressure, chase from marker, do all the little things, and then wait, and the cycle will turn. But I suppose from the outside looking in, you can understand that, but I just think it'd be very hard for Serrato to tinker with that system because he knows it works.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, look at it last year. Probably not this year because the Dogs have leaked a few more points, but last year they're the best defensive side in the game.
Yeah.
So it definitely knows it works, but yeah, I understand. I don't think it's fitness. I don't think it's like the Dogs are getting back and it's the fitness. It's just about continuity. Learning about each other, Galvin getting more comfortable in the 7 role, and look, I'm honestly not nowhere near as worried as what is being blown up at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm a dog. Like, I honestly say that.
Yep. I think Lockie Galvin's he's copping some harsh treatment as well from
He
some
always
fans
has,
and
mate.
stuff like that.
He always
Seems a bit
has.
over the
Yeah,
top.
but everyone's got to understand he's still a kid learning the game.
And he's not even a 7-weighter.
Yeah, and the system that he's set up at the moment, they actually attack okay. They attack okay. The Bulldogs, they do a lot of edge-to-edge stuff, back row to back rower, which in time will give Lockie the looks that he's looking for. As Grubby just spoke about Nath knows exactly what he's doing with every play. He might drop that back row under. If a middle goes around the corner, he knows he's got a middle there. Fullback plugs, he knows he goes to the other side. There's all these cues in the defensive line. Lockie Galvin understands cues. If he sees something in the line that that sort of stands out to him, he knows to attack that space. Just he's learning about being patient, and if you get it there on play 1 or 2, you can still go away and it might still be there play 3 and 4. It just takes time to develop that patience as a half, particularly with the pressure that he's feeling.
That's what I was going to say. There's pressure.
There's pressure to do it, but when he gets through it, and it's all young halves go through it, he will come out the other side, and actually the system that's built around him will start to give him more and more looks, which he can take advantage of. I think they just got to bite down on the mouthguard now, the Bulldogs fans, and just go through this little bit of pain while the attack's developing.
Joel Harrison, Kiwi producer here, up the wires, says Alex Johnston scored 30 tries in 2021 and 2022.
30. So Jenkins on track for double.
Yeah. I mean,
We've still got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, he's got
Yeah,
12
but-
tries for
12 and
5
5.
games.
But it's the
Yeah.
fastest ever, right? To
Yeah,
12.
12.
oh, yeah,
the most,
fast
yeah.
ever. And
Yeah.
he equaled it for 10 and 4. He equaled the record of all
Yep.
time for 4 games as well. So hopefully he scores a
You
couple
go,
more.
you.
That'll
Who's
be
the,
amazing.
who's the
man.
right winger? Marcelo?
Marcelo
Montoya?
is on
Is he
the
the
right.
right-
Yeah, he's on the
winger?
right.
Haven't
Yeah.
they swapped, haven't they?
Well, I think Marcelo was on the right last week.
Last
So I remember
week.
Galvin threw a ball and he dropped it. Marcelo.
Nice. Nice to bring that back up for Marcelo, mate.
No,
Yeah,
mate,
we'll flog
I'm
ya.
business partners with him these days, so I can say that.
Hey, who aren't you business partners with at the
Yeah,
moment?
mate.
I know. If you want to watch the show, you can watch it on YouTube. Just search Triple NRL on YouTube, and you can get your comments in because Grubby, someone sprayed you. At Stephen G has
What
said,
do you mean?
having the best defense doesn't guarantee your premierships. The game has changed. You need to able to score points, Josh.
And he said sorry.
He did say sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to leave that
I'll
out.
take his apology on. Yeah, like he's got a point.
Yeah.
But I definitely know, like, you ask all the coaches that have won comps, wait, you won a comp, like,
I don't think you don't need to be in the top defense, but there's a stat, something ridiculous. You need to be in the top 4 defensive teams to win the comp. It's only happened 2 times outside of that in the last 40 or 50 odd years. It was the Tigers one year.
And maybe the Broncos just gone as well.
well, if they were outside the top 4, then they would be the third team.
Okay, yeah.
And then, mate, the majority of them are top 2. I think when we won it, the Sharks were an outlier. We were third, the third best defensive clubs. But Stephen, is that his name?
Yep, Stephen G.
I disagree with you. You need to be a top defensive club to win the comp. Like, there's too much evidence, and you can go through it, look at all the past premiership winners. I guarantee the majority are in the top 4 premiership. Top 4 best defending teams in the premiership that year.
get that into you, Steve.
Joel sent another text saying Dave Brown got 38 tries in 1935. The great
Oh.
Brownie.
That's
Dave
the
Brown.
highest?
There you
That's the
go,
highest
Brownie.
of all time, I think. Yeah, he's given us a
Jeez, I
nod.
know Milky Jenkins listens to us.
He does.
On a Thursday, so
he? Yeah.
we're backing you in, Jenkins.
Yeah.
Go on, Milky.
We want to see 60.
60. Come on, 60 to you. Just keep
And we
going.
want to tribute to us at the end.
I tell you what, if he just we'll leave Grubby's doggies alone, right? So he maybe just scores one tonight.
None.
If he gets another hat trick or a couple more hat tricks before, say, round 12, we're starting to really look at some
Yeah.
numbers, aren't we?
40's got to be the goal, like a realistic goal of 40. 28 tries now, what? There's 20 rounds to go about that. If he's played 5, he'll have 19 games to go. Come on.
19
Milky.
games to go.
He needs
is
to
there?
get 28 tries.
He
So
needs a double a game.
Yeah.
I need
Easy.
to double
Not
a
even
game.
double. No, it's like 1.5. You get the calculator out there.
I was just about to work it out. But he's faster than me.
Yeah, 1.5. But anyway,
1.5 a game. Yeah, he'll get
1.5
that.
game.
He
He can do it. He can do it. Surely.
Well, you think there's going to be some arvos where he might get 3, might get 4, so he can bank some. But
Especially
he's
at
banked
Shark
some
Park.
now.
Yeah, he's banked some now,
So-
hasn't he? What? Friday night, Dragons Manly could be Shane Flanagan's last ever game as coach. That's what the mail's coming out from guys like Brent Reid. Sloane's at the fullback.
I thought we learned our lesson not to listen to Reedy.
Yeah, I
He
know.
backed Seabold.
He did. Seabold had no pressure on him. He said on Tuesday, the week he got sacked.
No pressure.
No
No, he
pressure.
didn't.
Yeah, he did. He said it was unfair, yeah.
He said it before the game.
Yeah, he did. We did the
Well,
show
we
there,
did
didn't
we did this game.
Yeah.
He said, no, I don't think there's any pressure. He's got a little bit of time still up his sleeve. We all agreed with him. We actually all agreed with him. We were shocked that Manly pulled the trigger on it so quickly. But yeah, I'm a couple times bitten by Reedy, so I'm twice shy.
Kieran Foran could end a guy's coaching career in his second ever game as coach, which is fascinating. But do you like Kyle Flanagan with the 7 on his back, Joshy?
To be honest, like this is just me being honest with you. After what happened last week, I wouldn't be rushing him back because the concussion's like real now. We've seen what it does, and mate, that was a nasty one. And to rush him back, like I get the pressure. I understand Shane's under pressure, but like I just don't know. I understand, Atkinson. Look, I've heard people say it's not working. I've seen some good things from him. I've seen some beautiful passes. I've seen some nice little show and goes and on like when he's had people inside and out him. His kicking needs a little bit of a rethink, I think. But look, to rush Kyle back in, it's a big call because look, no offense to Kyle, but they haven't won a game with him there either. And I don't think, like the way I look at it, whoever's been there, no one's been extra dominant. Atkinson hasn't been extra dominant. I think they play sides. It looks like they play 7 and 6. No one really – the way the Dragons play is, right, and this is the one thing I think where the Dragons are at. I seen one of their sets on the weekend. It was one of the worst sets I've seen all year, right? They go to left or right post and they go a block, for a half out the back for another block and then they drop it. So they want to open up this side and then they'll just go lead for lead for lead. I think you used to do it the Sharkies way, but you've done it very well. You had James Maloney and Benny Barber that knew exactly what was going on. But so they went the drop plays, right? But here I was watching that they actually had a variation on it. 2 of them were lining up on like the 4-man. And I was looking at the 2. It was a prop. I'm not going to say any names, but I was looking at them and they were like, who's where? By the time the play got to them, they had to drop again. So it was a drop for a drop. And then they had to kick. We can blame the halves all you want. If not everyone knows their roles, you are so far off. I've been in a team where it's happened, and every single training session we do the same stuff. But people feel a bit, when blokes don't know their roles, they don't want to ask in front of the group. Yeah. I understand that, but it is your job. It is your job to go after training and get to the assistant coaches and say, why aren't I understanding this? And then people will say, the halves aren't talking. No. Sometimes you got to know your job. The halves have got to do with a lot of stuff. But look, I like that they're not. I had to think about this. I actually said with Flanno's job on the line, like that we're all saying, and I hate talking about people's jobs on the line, but throw Cade Reid in because it's a sort of last resort. I don't want to see him in there now because he would just be a little like a Band-Aid for supporters for a bit of hope. But for his career moving forward, I don't care how tough he is. I've heard Kez say I was young and 80 kilos, but he went into a very good team.
Yeah.
It's very different, but I've had a real rethink on it, and I love that they're not throwing him in. So, yeah, Cole's your option. Look, I'd love Cole to just step up, own this team on the weekend, but you know who it's up to, boys, and like a few people, it's up to the senior players. They put their hands up this week and said they have not been up to it. There needs to be a response. You're playing the team. Look at exactly Manly's game against the Dolphins. A response is what they got there. That is exactly what they need to do. And it's not about doing all these big fancy plays. It's about doing all the little things right and just getting a win, however it happens.
Wait.
Yeah, well, as Grubby said, you got to give the Dragons credit. In that media day after the latest loss, they had 11 of their starters up for media to answer the questions and to face the music. And no one likes being in these situations as a player. I certainly went through runs when we were playing poorly, but that's the only thing you can do is front up and answer the questions and put your best foot forward for the next week. Just on the Dragons, it's funny you made those comments about the halves, Grubby, because you're right. Like the halves out there, their communication is at the start of the set and to the hooker and maybe to a few middles in the middle of the set to keep them on track. The edges, they should be talking into the halves.
Mm.
I'm inside the half here. Sloan should be out the back here. I'm on your left, Kyle, or I'm on your left, Acco. Like the talk should be coming from outside in as the set's building. So for them I didn't watch them that closely. I was all footed out by the time they played, and the quality of the game didn't make me want to stick around too much.
Tracker.
But they should be talking in. On Kyle, listen, I know some of the medical staff down there. Dan Lawson's head of performance. He's a physio. He was at the Sharkies with us. Andrew Gray oversees it. Like, these guys are experienced guys, and you got to back them in the way they've handled Kyle since he had that head knock. But I would just say when I had my issues, I had like 3 concussions in a row. It all stemmed from coming back too soon. I hadn't recovered from the first one, and then I had another one about 2 weeks later, had a week off, thought I was good again, came back, had another one. And by the end, the concussions were progressively getting easier. Like, I thought I'd lost my jaw, and that could have been it for me. And I seen the specialist, and, when I spoke to her, she was like, well, you just need to break the cycle. You're probably still in the symptoms and the issues from the very first one that you had, and that's why I end up sitting out all that time. Now, I'm not saying Kyle has to sit out all that time, but players nowadays, when they have a big concussion, like Kyle was out for a long time on the ground.
4 or 5 minutes. They said
I don't think it was 4 or 5 minutes.
But that's what they reported anyway.
Yeah.
That's what came from, I guess, the
I just hope he's 100%. He would have had to do all the tests to pass. the protocols to be available to be selected again. But I hope he's 100% because the last thing I want to see is another player come back in too early and have a repeated incident. So hopefully he gets through good. And Grubby said there comes a time, as a team where you sometimes just got to throw everything out the window, just get out there and go hard for each other and play hard for the result, scrap for everything. There's a ball on the ground, get down there, fight for it. If you got to turn up and make a tackle to save a try, just turn up and save a try. Like, all the pretty stuff is for the back end when you have your consistent base. When you're in a hole like the Dragons are, you just got to get out there and go hard and fight your way to a win.
The issue with the Carl thing as well is it's all an honesty test, isn't it? He could be saying all the right things to those guys that you mentioned, but at the end of the day, he knows his dad's job's on the line and he'll be wanting to do everything in his power to play.
This is the thing about with all our concussions tests in the HIA protocols, you can't learn them off by heart, but you become more and more familiar with them the more you do them. So they don't get easier, but there's a learning aspect of the test and there's an understanding of the test and the requirements. So the one I had at the back end of my career, sorry, Grubby, you sweet there, mate. The one I had at the back end of my career was a completely new test, and it was a hard test. It was a proper evaluation of where I was and where I sit with, the other male demographics of my age and, obviously my sex. Yeah. And then that was a baseline. I went for 3 hours and it was a baseline. And by the end of it, I was cooked. There was so many different activities to do, puzzles, word, a lot of stuff that goes into it. But then that's just a baseline for me. So they have my marker from where I finished my career. And then if I ever feel like I'm slipping a little bit or there's something not quite right, I can go in and do the test again, say in 15, 20 years' times. And then they look back to my baseline and then they compare me to my demographic again. And they go, okay, well, you're still in the same sport. You exceeded a bit or you dropped a little bit, right? But you can't do that test too often because it becomes a learned test. And then it skews the results. So with the HIA stuff and the concussion protocol, I know we're getting a bit off track.
No, it's interesting. This is really interesting, though.
Off topic here, the test can become a learned test because you do a baseline every preseason. You do a computer test every preseason. The more season you play, the more exposure you have to the test, the more you can, learn what you need to do to get to your baseline, basically. Or your baseline, it becomes less accurate because you've done the test more times. Yeah. So that's I'm probably saying it in layman's terms. There's more knowledgeable people out there that will be able to explain it better, but that's my take on it.
Dr. Graham.
We can go through. If you've been an athlete for a certain amount of time, you get a basic knowledge of injuries and rehab and what not to do, what to do. But
the Manly Seagulls got a huge boost, obviously, with Kieran Foran coming in. That was like they all rose emotionally to that challenge. Is there going to be any fall off from last week?
Oh, I don't think so. I think they get confidence from that, and I think
found their groove.
With a result, particularly the way they got their result, there was so many learned lessons. Like Olakwatu, okay? He had his best game for a long time. He's a big body, powerful, fast, but he does have that pass variation. Sometimes, over the last little bit when they weren't going well, they try to go to that pass variation straight away. They try to shift their way out of trouble, but you're putting the cart before the horse there. On the weekend, he had 10 carries in the Nicarima and that edge before he pulled the trigger on the variation. So Nicarima had to tackle him, had to handle him 10 or so times. If one time Nicarima comes out of the line early, when I shut down his time, bang, pass, variation, going straight through. So you earn the right for that shit. You always hear coaches and players talk about earning the right. That's earning the right.
Yeah.
Make them feel you first, carry, earn your shift, and then you can pull the variety once you start to play with that defensive line a little bit. I think they're in a groove now.
Yep.
They've learned a lot of lessons. Can they back it up? Well, I don't know. Can they be as good as last week? They're pretty good. That stat, the game stats were so one-sided. You'd think the Dragons might put up a bit more of a fight, but Manly, I think they're trending in the right direction again.
I just think it's an attitude thing for Olakwatu as well. Like, he had 24 carries that game. 24 carries for a back row is a lot of carries. Over 260, 70 metres or something.
Did you see the stats part? This is how much ball Manly had. He made seven
tackles.
And the Hemiso, the fullback of the opposition team, made 7 tackles.
Yeah, easy.
So that goes to show how dominant they were and how much possession they had.
So Hammer hated Hamola Kawatu hated Siebes, basically. We can
Well,
take from that.
Well, look, I'm not saying that, but it's just interesting when it happened, right? You know, like it was one of those things. But do you know what it was with Manly? I don't know if it was Siebes or whoever, but Wado's right. They were just trying to go around every week, and you know, we heard cracks at Jake. His run to pass ratio was off. All of a sudden, Jake run. But then what it was Paseka was making like half dents in the line, but then they were going straight shift. Like whereas Hetherington last year for the Bronx was one of the best at getting back in there again and then going again, and then you've got them all in you. Then you go, and Manly got strike on the edges. If they get it right, they'll make you pay. You know, like their edges are fast. So I think they got it right. I think they'll. I feel sorry for the Dragons, mate.
You think they'll win?
Oh yeah, I think they'll win.
Manly win. You got Manly as well?
I got Manly, yep.
Let's talk the Bunnies Raiders game. Doubleheader at Perth. The game over in Perth. We spoke a lot about Perth Bears expansion yesterday's show. It's looking a bit grim there, but let's talk about this game because the Brandon Smith's back, huge in for the Bunnies, but for the Raiders, they're in serious danger of their season slipping away now.
Well, firstly, for me, what a doubleheader for the Perth fans. Like Rabbits and Raiders, and then Sharks-Roosters. Oh, that's a great couple of matches for them to, experience this footy. They're getting their own team next year. This will be the last time that they play the doubleheader over there. Or they might keep it going, maybe, but that's a great doubleheader. The Raiders, it's hard to get a proper read on the Raiders because you think back, they won in Golden Point. Then they lost
Dogs.
They lost the Dogs by, there was a try they saved right at the end. 4 points. There was a performance over in New Zealand they lost where Warriors were fantastic in that game, and that was a really physical game. But they won't be the only team to go over to New Zealand and, cop it a little bit in a hard game because New Zealand's a different proposition these days. Sharks, I know the Sharks got away in the end, but that could have went either way for a long time. And then that's probably their worst performance so far against the Knights. So they've been in every game against quality opposition, but when you look at the results, they're 1-4. So they're in a little bit of a hole. Like they still got to remain confident and back themselves that they can turn it around because they have been in every game. They just haven't been able to get across the line and get the result. So it's not really a process thing. It's more of just a results thing. And if you stick to what you know and you remain confident in that, you got to trust that you'll turn the wheel and the bounce of the ball will go your way. The only thing I would say is that in the games where they've lost those close margins, they play a flamboyant style. A lot of offloads. They're happy to take a risk. Exciting outside backs, and it pays off for them a lot. But when it doesn't stick, it can hurt them. I think back to the Sharks game where I watched it. The flick pass early, Sebastian Chris, bang, hits KO Weeks, pops up in the Hudson Young's hands. They find a try in the first half. In the second half, game on the line, they shoot down that left-hand edge again. Couple of interchange of passes, offload, error. Next set, down that left edge again, offload, force a pass, error. Sharks went bang, bang, took the game away from you. And good opposition will do that if you give them opportunity. So you can't take that style away from them because it has so much success. But in the big moments or the big parts of the game, they need to just handle those a little bit better. And then I think they will find their groove. And they're still going to be a hard team to handle for everyone.
I think Canberra are the opposite to the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Canberra front load their attack, fully front and trust their ability to score. They're so unorthodox. They're like, there's no structure to their play. Like they don't want to go set for set. Like they are happy to late offload. And I looked on the weekend. You had like Simi Sasangi and Strange just like flick passes to it. It's like they're playing like park footy at stages, to be honest. But their defense isn't good enough for the style they're playing at the moment. So if they're gonna win games, off the back of these brilliant plays, and they've got speed to burn. But if it's not working, there's going to be games where it doesn't work. You got to literally switch your mindset and go, all right, boys, we're off here, and we got to defend. But their defense is just nowhere near. I think they're missing Jamal a little. Like he had the ability to understand when to feed the boys and when we had to play a little bit of structure and kick to corners, and it looked awkward because all the boys are like, maybe like they're all really good one-on-one tackle breakers. That's what I look at Canberra. That one-on-one they'll beat a lot of people, but I think with Sanders, he's just a young half, still finding his feet in that team. Like I said, it's not a natural team that you'd fit into. Like if you put him into, I think he would actually suit a team that has really good structure, and he seems like that type of guy. But Canberra are a bit of a different beast. Ethan Strange had a solid game on the weekend. I think he's struggling a little bit on the right-hand side because he was playing a lot of left last year where he'd just go wide forward, left foot, bang, like either quick play the ball or a try. Whereas this year, Kez and I have spoken about this before, it's left foot, and if you're on that right side, you've got to look to ball play a bit more and hit the back rowers. So I think, them two linking up a little bit more, that they'll find a bit, but they've got a great side. But it's just defensively. I don't know what Owen Paddy's done. I'm looking for his name again. He's not there.
So what he's been told is to get extra minutes playing New South Wales Cup, so he can play 60 minutes in Cup rather than 20 minutes every week in first grade.
Surely he's playing 80 in Cup.
Probably. Oh, I'll check. I'll check now.
He needs to be playing 80 if he's playing New South Wales Cup.
Because he's their future 9. Like he's brilliant. He's a gun. But look, then again, he's an attacking player as well. So maybe he's got Brails there.
It's funny what you said about Jamal, because just thinking about it, and young Ethan Sanders and Strange, and even the rest of the team, Jamal as a experienced half, he'd have conversations with Ricky and whoever the attacking coach is down there, and he probably wouldn't even pass that information, some of the information, onto the rest of the team, because he'd take that pressure off. Don't worry, boys, I got this.
Yeah.
Or if Strange had a question, he'd come to ask Jamal. He goes, well, you just do this. Let me worry about the rest. Well, now Stranger is in that position because he's the senior half, and they'd be working a lot more together, him and Ethan Strange. So it is a little bit of a experience thing, but you just wonder, it gives him a little bit of a different mindset heading in the games. There's a little bit more in your prep that you need to worry about, and when when you start worrying about other people, it takes away your focus on yourself. And I think if Jamal. And I don't know what Jamal was like down there in that system, but I could see him going, getting everything sort of covered, understanding what we're trying to do, and just shielding that from the rest of the team. You go out there, boys, and you play your style. Let me get you to positions where we can sort of unlock the best out of everyone. And they're just trying to figure that missing piece at the moment.
And not a lot of people don't understand as well, like having an older half, a dominant half, and a controlling half that's just a bit older. It's like a safety blanket as a young guy coming in. Like Ethan Strange, how many years is he? Is he his second or third year? Like he's still young.
Yeah.
He would love the way he plays. He would just love a real dominant older half that he doesn't have to worry about anything.
Don't have to worry about kicking. Don't have to worry about calling the plays.
He just eyes up.
Where's
footy.
my space?
That's
and
it.
I'm running at my space. Yeah.
Whereas sort of like, I just look at times and like he will get there, Sanders, but two young halves trying to find their way. It's not as easy as what everyone thinks.
And the bonus for that is they've still been in the fight. They've been in every game.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I would still say their system and the way they play, when it sticks, I think they trouble teams like the Penrith, teams like the Bulldogs, with even teams like the Sharks, because they're so unstructured. And you talk about Grub is talking about that fast moving D-line. Well, if you're up and back, and then all of a sudden a late offload comes and you're up and back, and then another offload, then a quick play of the ball, then they flood the space where you just got your couple of offloads. It can break down those well-structured defensive lines because you can't plan for that. Like, you can plan for shape and habits of the opposition, but an offload out the back and people just flooding for space, it's hard to plan for that.
He's playing about 68 minutes a game in New South Wales Cup. They're 0-5 in Cup as well, the Raiders. So
Owen Paddy,
0-5.
I love that.
He's the mock. He's the mock for the Raiders. On the Bunny side of things, Cheese comes back in. The Bunnies are going to be a top 4 contender this year. They haven't blown the lights out, but they've had some good wins already to start the year.
Potentially, if they keep going, they're gaining confidence, because again, they haven't been excellent, but they've still been getting results. And you look at their team, the talent in their team. Everyone was so critical of them the last few years because their roster, you expect them to be doing better. This year they've started quietly, getting the results, probably not at their best, but still winning, and they have so much more in them. Like they're an opposition you can never take lightly because they only need Latrell to have a big game. It would take a victory away from you. They only needed Dave Fifita to have a big game. It would take the victory away from you. Jai Gray at the back.
Wow.
He's their energizer bunny. He's been almost like their missing link because he's non-stop and plays with enthusiasm. He's in every play, and when you have a teammate, doing that and saving tries and then jumping down short sides and creating opportunity, the other boys sort of feed off that. And if he's doing that and he's sort of the glue that keeps them going, well, then you only need one of those big guns to come up with a play here and there, and they're a real force. So I think if they reach their potential, they could definitely get into the top 4.
They're not a shot-for-shot side anymore, South. When Latrell was at fullback, it was literally, let's try and set up right to
eggs
go left.
Eggs in one basket.
And you knew, and sometimes it's still hard to stop, but Jai Gray's ability in the middle of the field to cause a bit of havoc now off the back of, Keon and even Dave Fifita. But what it is, this is what South has been for many years. They've been looking for a right side half who will overcall Cody at times because Cody wants the ball every single play. You watch Cody this weekend, it won't be on. His hands are up. He wants the ball all the time. That's why he's so good. But the ability of Tallis Duncan at the moment on the other edge to cause some trouble, like you watch teams, they're loading. Who are you loading up on?
Yeah,
Latrell, Cody.
Yeah, Dave.
But then on this side, you might have 5 from a really good spot, and Humphries is doing a really good job of recognising that and just going at the line with Tallis Duncan, who's one of the elite line runners at the moment. His ability to change on the run, understand his ball players, and that's what I think South are so dominant. But the thing for me is it's just going to be when things aren't going good and a bit of depth is tested and, a few injuries. They've had some bad injuries over the past few years. Will they still have the same, I suppose, potence that they have at the moment?
Yeah. Who have you got in this game?
South.
South?
Yeah.
I might tip Canberra.
Okay. The upset.
I might tip Canberra the upset.
I'm sort of with you. I think Canberra might get the win.
Well, I just feel like they need to break through, don't they?
Yeah.
They need to because, listen, they might go on a run and possibly get into the 8, but the top 4s, if they keep losing, it becomes harder and harder. And after the season that they had last year, not making the top 4 would be really, really disappointing for them.
And they got Storm next week. So if they lose this week, then they could be facing down the barrel of being 1 win, 6 losses.
I'll go Canberra just because I feel like they're a little bit more desperate.
Yep. We'll just talk about this game very quickly because we're running out of time. But Broncos-Cowboys, the 4X derby. Adam Reynolds, 50-50 to play, but no Reece Walsh in this game. Jesse Arthur's at the back. Tough game to call, Grubby.
Cowboys.
You got Cowboys winning?
Well, they're playing a really good style of footy at the moment. Reece Walsh out is huge, obviously. Adam Reynolds, if he doesn't play, I don't think he'll play.
Yeah,
you're not risking you can't really, I think it was a groin adductor. Like, they just don't, especially at his age.
If they didn't risk him last week, a couple of weeks ago for the AC, you're definitely not risking him for a soft tissue.
No way. So I'm calling him out. Who comes in, boys? Did you say?
Duffy,
Tom Duffy, yeah.
Look, good opportunity for him, but I just feel at the moment the Cowboys, Jason Taumalolo, like, who is that guy at the moment?
Yeah.
Man, like, remember a couple of years ago or last year, people were saying, the 10-year back-ended. Mate, he's nearly one of the best props in the game at the moment, laying an absolute platform for a team that knows when and when not to pull the trigger. Like, start of the year, they beat the Drums were beating. Peyton's gone. Mate, now he's safe as houses now. He's buying more property up there. He's sweet as. But, like, I love them. They're a very well-rounded side, the Cowboys. Drinkwater's on fire. Like, he's so hard to stop. And I just think if the Cowboys can win the battle up front, because the Broncos have still got a really, really good starting pack, I honestly think, I just think they can win it. I really do. Like, I don't know what it is. I love Jackson Purdue at the moment. Like, wow.
You know who I really think's playing well, and he seems to never get any raps, is Jake Clifford.
Oh, yeah.
He's always a little bit maligned up there for some reason. He's been in and out of the team at different stages.
Yeah.
But I reckon he has a crack every time he comes in. Like, he's got a good kicking game. He's a solid ball player, but he just competes.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you seen him run through and chase a ball and get up there and compete and bring it down? Like, he's good at that. And he's playing well at the moment. I think I'll probably back Grubby and say the Cowboys as well. With the injuries to the Broncos, they're generally really fast games. And if it's fast, I just think, with Drinkwater, Dearden, and Clifford, they got enough in them to create enough opportunities.
He's averaging 100 running meters a game as well, Jake Clifford. They love his running game up there as well.
He's a big body, but he's just, I don't know. He doesn't seem to get the raps that.
It's because Dearden and Drinkwater are such household names.
Yeah.
And that when you think of the Cowboys, that's who you think of, and they usually play well. But he's the guy that's, you're right, very, very underrated. He does those weird things, like he'll chase his own kick and catch it. And you go,
He
how
just
does he deal with
competes.
that? Yeah, you're right. He's a good competitor.
They had 11 line breaks against the Dragons.
Yeah, it wasn't a great
That's the
performance.
Cowboys.
from the Dragons.
Jeez. So you both got the Cowboys, you say? Yep.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, now let's go to the other Perth game, Sharks-Roosters.
Roosters.
Was it your last ever game, Wado, against the Roosters in the finals? Was that your last ever game?
Yeah. That wasn't a good memory. To be honest, we competed really well in that game. We took a shot for goal when they had 10 in the bin and we were up by 6, I think. And then we got the ball back. We made a break. Could have scored in the next set. Came up with an error. Roosters came down and scored. Then I think they kicked the goal and they ended up winning by, or we might have kicked the goal to go up by 2. And the criticism was we should have searched for more points. I can't remember exactly, but it was a good game. I just remember feeling bad for the rest of the crew because I think we were out straight sets that year, or it might have been, it was that year. And then, those young crew, they hadn't really had a taste yet. The year before, he got bundled out as well. So I felt devastated for them. But Sharks and Roosters, I got a really funny memory from the Roosters, like the clash. So, when people, I think Joshy Curran got in trouble for calling someone offside last year, but you see a lot of players, they got in trouble for that because you can imitate other players, but you can't imitate the ref, right? Well, you probably can, but just not right in front of him. That was silly by Josh. We were playing the Roosters one day. We were down on troops. It was like 24-0 early. Just before half-time, Jeff Robson puts the bomb up. It lands and bounces. And Sean Kenny-Dow gets it going towards the sideline, and our boys are taking him out. So he flicks it into Mitchell Pearce, and I'm literally a metre out from the goal line inside Pearcey, and I called the ball. I was like, Junior. And he turns around and passes it straight to me. I catch the ball, put it down, score the try. So it's something like 24-6 or 24-4 going to halftime. We come back and win the game.
Hey, so you won it.
We won it.
Love that.
I love it. I think should be able to find the clip somewhere.
I think I've seen it before.
But
Like
it
very
was so
close to the
funny.
line.
And I remember Pearcey was filthy. It was because I called his nickname. I called Junior, not Pearcey. So
that's what it is.
I knew him from a long time. I've known him since we were young anyway. We played against each other. And I was like, backyard trick. I was like, you know what? I'll give it a whirl, see if it works. Junior. Just passed it straight inside to me. I literally turned on the spot, put it down, and we got it. We got our first try. Munster's
does
good.
it all the time.
Yeah.
He always gets the ball.
It's something that you do as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never knew anyone's nickname. I didn't want to. I'm joking. Good game, though. Wow, you know what I love about talking about not knowing your role? Everyone in the Sharkies outfit knows their role. You watch them, they go coast to coast a lot of the time. They'll put a dint in your ear and, they'll bring all the defence in. And then on the weekend, it went lead line, not even knowing inside who, someone out the back, same thing. And then I think it was Billy, went straight through, untouched. That's the difference in teams and combinations and knowing your role. I'm excited for the battle this week, the Battle of the Nines. Brayley and Robson, my 2 New South Wales hookers at the moment, going head to head. So that'll be a good battle there. How good is Billy Burns going to hold out Nickera? That's big because he's been the back rower for a long time and an elite back rower. So he's been really, really good. Victor Radley back is big for the Roosters, just to help out their halves at times. Their halves are still finding their combination. The Roosters, 2 great halves, but 2 guys that love running a team themselves. So Victor will play that little bit off 13 through the middle and allow them to, I suppose, have a little bit of a break at times and need the ball when they want it. Connor Watson's been doing a really good job at that as well. With the speed of the game, he's sort of suiting that fast, getting around the ruck and playing. But interesting one for me will be the matchup between Hugo Savala in the centres with Iro, who's been outstanding for the Sharkies. Who is out for the Roosters? Who's usually their centre?
That is Billy Smith, who just gets injured by gusts of wind
More
these
than
days.
me.
He gets injured constantly. I feel for him.
We look for the e-bikes.
Yeah, e-bike got him. Then he did his knee in the first game back. I actually feel for him. He's apparently a wonderful person, like absolutely amazing bloke, but he just can't take a trick at the moment.
He was in the game where two guys did their ACL in the same game, was he? He was one, and then Victor Radley, I think, was the other. Like, they had a poor run there for a while. But, yeah, the Sharks look good against the Warriors. The thing with the Sharks is you can tell when they're up and about and they're going, well, they play so fast over the ad line, and that combination of you spoke about the Dragons where they play one half on one side, either side. Well, the Sharks, they all swing together, don't
Opposite.
they? They're 7, 6, and 1. They all swing, they interchange, and they've been working on that for a while. Obviously, that's a combination that's developed over time. But when they're on, they do look good. But again, a little bit of mentor versus apprentice, Robbo versus Fitzy. We spoke about Serraldo and Ivan early. But Fitzy certainly had a big part of that Roosters system and some of the success they had. So they always get up for these games, both teams. There's a lot. There's a healthy respect between the clubs, but there's nothing like getting a victory over someone you respect. So they'll get after it.
Who have you got?
Is in Perth?
Yeah.
I'll go Sharkies.
Sharkies.
After last week's performance, but they do let me down a lot.
Yeah. They let all our Sharky supporters down every now and again. The Sharks actually have a good record over in Perth.
There you
I
go.
think I played.
One game, 1-1.
No, they played there twice.
Just because
played
you played there 1-1 doesn't mean they got a good record.
No, I played there for my
I love it.
250th Sharks game. We won against South, and then they played there last year against South, beat them again.
Yeah.
So then this year they got the Roosters.
They lost 10
2
before that.
They wouldn't have that many before that. Sure
Western
they
Reds
didn't
had
they?
their number.
One in Origin in Perth, maybe. I just have a good.
Yeah, just you.
I should come out of retirement and play for Perth.
Yeah. They always.
They need a recruiter.
These are the games they want to win the Sharks if you're going to prove they're a contender this year anyway. The Connor Watson.
Big news.
Big news. So he was signed until the end of 27, but he's been told he can look for a new club next season.
I just wonder if they know that he's on the radar of Perth, PNG, these other clubs, and they know that he's going to probably demand a bigger money deal that then the Roosters can fit him in the cap for.
And they've got some good young forwards.
And they've got some
coming
good young ones coming through. But you get to a point in your career like Connor, and again, the new club's coming in, he'd be a fantastic signing, very versatile, a great person, and they probably know his next contract. If those clubs come in, the Roosters won't be able to match it. So you just get on the front foot and say, listen, we'd love to keep you here. If you want to sign for cheap and play because you love us and stay here, maybe they will keep him. But if there's bigger and better opportunities where you can extend your career and earn a bit more money, well, then go after it.
Okay.
Our great mate who's normally here, Luke Keary, has been trumpeting that Joe Manu could be coming back.
To the Roosters.
Is this a way of them creating some cap space to get Joey Manu in? All the reporting around Joey Manu, it says that he's not available until like halfway through 2027. It's my understanding he can come before then. So I think if I'm going to put my Roosters conspiracy hat on, they're clearing some money to bring Joey Manu in.
Is this off his other deal? Like
So
like we think, like well, everyone sort of thought it was until mid, but you're saying
I'm saying he can come. I'm actually like this. Luke Keary's been saying this. He can actually come this season.
Drops the bomb and then just
throw him under the bus.
He can actually come this season, Joe Manu. Now, if he's coming next year, I'm just more thinking about them creating an extra salary cap for next year so they can fit Joe Manu in. And I think this could happen. I think Joe Manu is going to come back to the NRL, and it doesn't make much sense for them to be like, oh yeah, Connor, you can go with a year. It's not like he had 4 years in his deal. He only has a year to go. It tells me that they need to create salary cap space, and it makes perfect sense for Joe Manu to come in.
Wado had a good point. Like they would know that the Bears and PNG are looking for players like Connor, Origin player, fill many positions, probably can start in those teams, because they're building, and he'd be the perfect suit. And the Roosters are just getting on the front foot. It wouldn't be nasty. It wouldn't be like, mate, we want you gone. We appreciate what you've done. You've filled a really good void for us. But if that's in the background, and look, Manu's Manu.
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
And they got Nwangani Tuase leaving at the end of the season. Daniel Tupu maybe he retires
He'll
at the
go
end of the
again.
year. I reckon he's going to go again as
Yeah.
well. It looks like he's got still another year to
Looks
go.
so good.
Billy Smith's injury prone, so they need to come up with a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Manu makes a lot of
If
sense.
this Joey Manu thing comes true and whenever,
Yeah.
I'm going to add a title to you. It's exclusives, breaking news.
Breaking
You're
news.
a journalist from now on. If this comes
Yeah,
up,
yeah. It's
Yeah.
more. It's less news and more just me reading the tea leaves. Though.
conspiracy.
I'll read the tea leaves. I'll be the tea leaf reader.
Well, that's what most of them do anyway, isn't it?
I'm going to call you Charlie Reid.
Charlie Reid.
Charlie
Yeah, it's got a
Reid.
ring to it. It's got a ring to
You
it.
look the
Brent
same
White.
too.
Brent White. Yeah. Well, mate, Reedy, there's a bit of mail that Reedy's maybe had some Botox done.
Oh,
Now I don't know if that's true or not. He denies it, but his forehead is it's
Stuck.
very wrinkleless.
It's
for a man.
stuck.
How old do you think Brent Reid is, Grubby?
No, he's not that old.
84.
How,
He can't be that old.
How old do you think he is, Wade?
He's got to be what?
Nah, he'd be
Be-
62.
No,
Nah.
How do you reckon?
I'd only be like late 40s, early 50s.
Well, he's 57.
Oh, wow.
Late
Yeah.
40s?
Yeah, I would have thought the same.
Come on.
That's what Botox does to you, mate. It gets 10 years off you.
I forgot me and you're almost late 40s now.
I know.
We're almost run out of time, but just quickly, Tigers and Knights, both those teams. It's a top four clash.
How
Top
good.
four clash. Second v third.
No one had this on their bingo cards. Second versus third out at Campbelltown, round 6, is it? Round 7?
Yeah, around 6. Yeah.
Round 6. Newcastle Knights versus West Tigers. How good is it?
Mm.
Newcastle, again, I've publicly said I was doubtful on how they'd go this season. I didn't think they'd have all that much improvement, but Holbrook, you got to give him credit. The new voice has just refocused them, remotivated. They're playing so committed, and then they look like they're enjoying their footy out there, working hard for each other, getting the results. So kudos to Newcastle and all their fans and the Tigers. That game, me and Grubby called it at Parramatta. That was an unbelievable game. Like, Tigers deserved to win, but I don't think Parramatta deserved to walk away with nothing. The way they soldiered on. Man, they were down to one man on the bench. They had the debutant, that young kid, Twaddle came on, had 3 touches, 1 line break, 2 tries, ended his AC scoring a try. So he's out this week.
Yeah. Crazy eyes Twiddle. His eyes lit up as well when he was getting through.
He looks freaky.
Yeah, he's
He was
scary.
like that. I was like, this guy's scary. Hey, I'm going to throw something out there, right? This is just something that I used to remember whenever I'd go out to Campbelltown for like fan days with the Tigers. They'd always say, because everyone always says, oh, Campbelltown's torture. It's too far, crappy stadium and whatnot. But this is and they always say they get crappy games, right? This is their opportunity. This is Campbelltown, the Westies' opportunity. You have a top 4 battle on a Sunday arvo, and it's going to be beautiful conditions. Get out there. The Tigers are flying. Like, this is what you've been waiting for a very long time. So the Tigers have been travelling everywhere. You can see them. Last week, there was heaps of Tigers at the game, and it's just a really, really big opportunity for a team that, like, they would be making their fan bases very proud. Dewey and Madden combination, wow. Like, unbelievable. Like, Jock Madden is just standing up, controlling the team, and Dewey's just playing off the back of it. You know why I feel their forward pack is very fast. Twal, Ball, they're playing quick on the ad line footy, and it's suiting them. But then the Knights, you know all it is, and just a quick story. Justin Holbrook came to the Bulldogs when I was at a really, really interesting time in my career. I wasn't getting much love from the Bulldogs. That I was just probably going to be a fringy, and he come to the Bulldogs and was my coach, and the belief he instilled in me to just keep going and not giving up, and just a few halfback tips here and there. I think he's done this to the Knights. I really do, because I know not much has changed at the Knights. Like, Brown he's not playing.
Yeah.
You know, like,
They lost Leo Thompson.
they lost Leo Thompson, but it's a very Trey Mooney's been brilliant, but it's the same sort of team. And belief is a funny thing. You know, you start walking around like you're a team that, you know, can beat anyone, mate, you will. I know it sounds really silly, but it's funny what belief can do. And, you know, Fletcher Sharp and the Mullet brothers and Hunt, they're just playing footy. They're playing backyard footy. They're doing bombers. They're chasing every single one. It looks fun. And sometimes half the problem, that's all it is. You know, it doesn't look fun, and I'm not the Dragons. That doesn't look fun. Yeah. Because they're going in and not doing all the fun stuff, because that's what happens. You go in and train, you train harder. So it's not the problem sometimes. So great game. Very excited. I think
I'm going back-to-back golden point for the Tigers.
Ooh.
Yeah. I can't pick it. I can't split it.
But I'm going to say early, I think we'll go to golden point.
The-
Just to spoil the Western Suburbs fans a little bit more out of Campbelltown.
The last sellout at the Tigers, I imagine, I haven't done my research on this, was the Spoon Bowl. This could be the next sellout at
There you go.
Campbelltown. Sell this one out,
Well,
baby.
this is the one they want to be selling out. Top 4 clash,
Yeah.
as Grubby said, Sunday afternoon. That's the best time for footy.
Great show, boys. Great to have you in. Great job off the bench, Wade. You always
Nice one,
smash it,
Dave.
mate.
Cheers, boys. Thanks. I'll see Keary next week, eh?